Alright, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Or I guess I should say the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Because, yeah, I'm doing the first game, obviously. Why would I ever do the second game before the first game? Anyways, I did learn something kind of interesting from the wiki. But apparently, the Speckled Band is actually the name of a Sherlock Holmes book or story, which that makes last case kind of more interesting because of that. Anyways, let me get my controller ready. There we go, that should be good. Just gonna make sure my mic's in a good place. Ah, there we go, that's good, that's comfy. Alright, oh shit, my mouse is always in the way when I start these. Go away. The Adventure of the Runaway Room.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night.
Good British accent we got going here.
The victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside. There were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
I think they're all like that, though.
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude.
Prelude?
The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Well, this'll be fun. Crazy person? Hey, look, he's got his hat.
Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives.
Choo-choo, motherfucker.
This country is incredible.
Yeah, London's great, isn't it? Wouldn't be London without the music.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure.
This guy's all ready for St. Patrick's Day with that green he's got on.
Suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then,
So everybody has a British accent, even if they're from Japan. That's a little
welcome
weird.
to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Welcome to London, mate. See, now I'd give everybody a British accent, but like, even that's a little much. I'm just giving them my normal, non-accented voices, and saving the actual British accents for like Sherlock Holmes. Ooh, we're in the Supreme Court now. This is like the top of the chimney. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. Looks like a fortress. It looks like it looks like Dr. Wily's next castle with the gears in the background. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in the few short decades since we've opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this is quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? Hold on, let me just double check that I'm recording, because I don't want to fuck that up. Okay, good. A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. I wonder what fancy chaps we're gonna meet here. But I think there's more to the differences than just the construction materials. What is this place again? That is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice? how many more like honorifics can you apply to him? Like, oh, the Lord Supreme Emperor God of Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time. If circumstances were different, we were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Cosmo can't. No. So instead, we are here in different capacity. As envoys to report the news of Cosmo-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan? If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Cosmo's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need to requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Well, we can do that, which is what I've been studying for. I mean, it wouldn't be called the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles if it just ended after Case 2. It's like imagine after Case 2, it's like Ryunosuke just goes back to Japan, he lives his normal life. It's like, yeah, you get to live out your normal life for the next 3 cases. That'd be the most boring Ace Attorney ever. I mean, maybe they can make it interesting. You know, imagine an Ace Attorney game where you're not actually a lawyer, you're just like some guy investigating shit. That could be a game still. They could still make that. You know, I mean, Ace Attorney Investigations exists. Although, I mean, you're playing as a prosecutor, so like you still have like law rights and stuff. Here in Great Britain is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. What, they don't like foreigners or something? I'll put up to scratch. Oh, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. He definitely looks like a chief. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan? Seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing with nothing much to do. How fortunate. So, introductions. I'm Miles Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice for the British Empire. I'm gonna guess it's Mile, not male. Ugh, I feel a little mouse on the elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Oh, yes, thank you. Well, you know what time it is. I gotta present my badge. Wait, the armband? An armband I inherited from Cosmo. It identifies the wearer as a defense lawyer. Oh, we have this instead of our, like, learning badge, huh? Lord Strongheart, may I show you this? To accept this item, I issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my findings. Would require something in the region of 24 seconds of my time. Sorry? Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo? Let's leave it for now. Well, you know, I never examined it. And we obviously got the badge. Like, that's like the... Yeah, he said it for me. These are the scales of justice. They're a symbol of the defense, aren't they? Yeah, isn't that like the same icon they use for the Justice Arcana in Persona? Yes, that's right. Scales are a symbol of fairness, to show that all are treated equally in the eyes of the law. And they're a warning to those who enter the courtroom without an impartial mind. If they're the mark of the defense, it would be more auspicious if they are weighing more heavily on the not guilty side, I think. Very impartial, I'm sure. What else can I examine? I think that might be the only thing I can examine. Wait, hang on. I saw something. What about that? What about the wording on the back? Cosmo Asogi. Oh. Lawyer's name's embroidered on the inside here, look. Cosmo Asogi. This was his band, of course. He had his heart set on the study tour in Great Britain. I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here. But he lost his life before he even had the chance to see the place. Are we just gonna wear his armband all game? I have such a strong sense of his hopes and dreams when I look at this armband, though. Okay, I'm glad I checked that out. I can examine anything? Let's not see the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. Looks more like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. Feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. Well, yeah, you know, the British love their fancy shit. I know. That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. The gears? Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. Oh, I love clock towers, man. But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive, even. It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? Lord Chief... I mean, why do you think he has a fucking pocket watch? Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size. And I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. They probably, like, oil the fuck out of those or something. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Well, we have, like, this armor here. Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. I believe they're... yes, they're suits of armor. Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know? Yeah, like the ones in RE4. Actually, that's a different Capcom game. And they roll around in the middle of the night. Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Mrs. Otto? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get that incredible tome? Like, I can't tell. Like, is it a dictionary or what? Just look at all the naughty books packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. Oh, I was trying to examine the candle, but not the books. Man, this makes you want to whip a candle, get some hearts. And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come and buy in Japan. It's like a dream. She's so cute. Yeah, a very bad dream. They're not all about British law either. There are books about the judicial system of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Why would he know Russian? Can't examine the carpet? I think that's all we can examine, right? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Well, let's actually talk to him then. London!
So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London?
Oh, well... help. I'm so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? That's a fun British word. Splendid. Oh? We had a wonderful view of some London streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say, I'm almost lost for words.
I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped waters, and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London's astounded.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I ever see some fucking giant clock towers in BC. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Oops, wrong button. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. She's trying to impress him with her fancy English words.
Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we'll be hosting here in London.
Great exhibition?
Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It'll be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop.
Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Man, everybody hates France. It's like Germany hates France, London hates France. They just don't get along, man.
Great Britain's capital city's nothing but magnificent. London's the center of the modern world.
Even if you do say so yourself.
The sun was never set on our great empire. Perhaps it's fate, then, in these progressive times, we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun.
Yeah, I'm a law student. Lord Chief Justice. I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you?
Absolutely. A Mr. Cosma Sogi, if my memory serves.
That's right.
The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores.
That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived.
My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours.
Oh, thank you.
And you wanted this appointment specifically to inform me of the news?
Yes. We're here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person.
They tell me you Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it was with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed.
If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart.
What do you have to say, madam?
It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal.
Woody now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo.
That's it then. The moment of truth. Yeah. Wonder how he's gonna react to this. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you'd consider allowing the study tour to go ahead.
Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done.
Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean.
Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. That was Mr. Sogi. At least that's what I've been led to understand.
Well, the thing is, it really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Yeah, he's very uptight, isn't he? Mr. Naruhodo! I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? there's someone else here from Japan who could describe the lawyer. It's me. It's me. I can do it.
Is that so?
Just say you've been studying law on the ship or something. I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but...
No qualifications, you say? And yet you still claim to be a lawyer?
I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. Cosmo helped me. And I was the accused. We're glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Buria.
The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training.
I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Cosma, Mr. Soi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Please.
31 seconds.
Sorry?
Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, it was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is skill that would stand you in a good stead as a lawyer.
Oh, thanks.
So you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment.
Huh?
Well, let me ask you one thing first, sir.
Yes?
You say you intend to do everything Mr. So you plan to do? Are you firmly set upon that path?
Well, yes. That's my intention.
Oh, I see.
Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden?
Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you.
Really? Test. So, what form will the test take exactly?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be?
Well, defending people, of course.
Well said. So, let's have you defend someone.
Huh?
Your timing's perfect, in fact. There's a trial about to begin later today. No advocate's been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news.
Today? Straight away?
If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you will have passed my test. What could be simpler?
How do I get myself in these situations? Hey, I mean, it's a good way to test your skills. Well, could I ask? What sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Long Strongheart?
Yes, good question. Oh, I remember. It's a murder trial.
A murder?
An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose.
That's easy to say.
But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment.
Capital punishment? He'll be put to death?
Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without an exception. Presumably you read that much in your short sea-based introduction to British law.
We can't possibly agree to such a test. We'd be toying with a man's life.
Oh, I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable.
But you can't do that, can you? I mean, it would definitely be scary to trust your life with a noob. I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah.
There's no need to overcomplicate this.
Oh, wait, fuck, I accidentally pressed the button.
All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose.
Thank God for the history button, man. I hate it when games don't have that. Well, I mean, the history button's more of a recent thing in, like, novel games. Or JRPGs. Like, I mean, Neptunia does it. The defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged.
Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Sogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen.
He's testing my resolve.
What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be?
What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Of course. Alright then. I have to give you a decision now. My answer is I can't do it. I can't get the words out.
15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I expected, is it?
Sorry?
You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation's over.
Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo? I'm sorry, Miss Susato. What could I do? It's alright. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. Ooh, the trial theme, I think this is.
What are you trying to say, madam?
I think what Miss Susato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. What the hell, man?
Wait, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, was there something else?
It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time.
But I just said that.
I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him.
What?
At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. You'll receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down.
Oh, yeah. It's better to have a lawyer than no lawyer, right? But that's awful.
That's the truth.
Why does it have to be like this?
Please don't expect an answer to every question. cold hard truth of the matter is that there's only one person with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you.
Well, now he has to do it. Really, his only hope? I like this dude. He's cool.
So, what do you say now, madam?
Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve.
Oh.
Our time's up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves.
He reminds me of the sergeant from Mario RPG, where he's like, I'm sorry, I'm 8.16 seconds late, or whatever. He's gone.
The Old Bailey.
If we're gonna do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Can I converse? What to do? Nah, we're not gonna leave at once, we're gonna talk. Mrs. Otto, can I ask you something? She's about to do a takedown. Careful. From this position, I can perform a Suzato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts immediately. If I need to throw you, I will. No, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, it better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Come on, I gotta present this to you. Mrs. Otto, can I just ask you something? Careful from this. Oh, that's funny, though. Alright, well, that seems to be all then. I mean, I can't... Wait, if I examine, will she be like, careful? Oh, I didn't know you could change the angle here. Hang on. No, just in case it would be the same thing. That's funny though. I like that you can do that. Alright, so I think that's everything to do here then. Lord Chief Justice's office. The office of Lord Chief Justice Strongheart in Great Britain's capital city. Did I say Great Britain? In Britain's great capital city, London. Its grand stone architecture and the echoey tick of the vast cogwheels lend it an air of authority. The Old Bailey. London's highest criminal court with an illustrious past, the Old Bailey. This is where I'm to take my test and prove my worthiness as a lawyer. This oppressive air, it's really quite stifling. If you hurry and catch a cab, we may just make it to the courthouse on time. Well, that was fast. I guess we're not gonna be late. I was expecting to go outside and be like, hey, wait, cab, wait up for us. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. Well, that was quick. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. My teeth. Do you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Sherlock Holmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. Not sure why you're so pleased. Thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here. But there's no sign of him at all. This is the Old Bailey. Even this is for defense to wait in its grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Feeling tense, that's all. I mean, I would be too, it's fair. I mean, going to a fucking courtroom in a different country, that's kind of wild. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding I remember from that Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment.
Top of the morning to you, madam, sir.
Who's this Willy Wonka looking ass?
What are yous doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, ain't they? Sorry? Did you look at these expressionless faces? From the East, they is?
We're from Japan, yes.
Oh, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do yous need?
No, we're just here because...
No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, how so have I. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange faraway land.
Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no.
Tis grand, tis grand. Let me stop by giving you 1,000 guineas, stay nothing now.
1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo.
What? 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I've sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough wealth to build the city of London 2 or 3 times over.
Did that much rain even fall in one day? I'm gonna definitely try and give him an Irish accent, because he kind of looks like that to me. He looks like a fucking... He looks like a fucking leprechaun.
Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money.
That hit me in the eye.
Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me.
Oh?
To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial's about to begin, you see. It's for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now.
Oh, well, the thing is...
Don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, trial's going to start without me having any kind of representation at all.
So it was true. He's our client? The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but... Does that mean you're the defendant in this trial?
Blast and blazes, dears. Do you not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names?
Bro, Sherlock Holmes said the same thing, man. No, sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, you see.
I see. Suppose it ain't altogether possible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, there's the City of London, another beautiful park.
Sorry, a park? What?
Just called McGilder Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did.
An entire park? In central London?
City of Smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilder wouldn't do for the city and its square old people.
That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary.
Oh, but now the goal is saying I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilder. What's the matter with the London police, I ask you?
Wait, that was him talking. I thought that was Naruhodo because he always says ha like that. Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea.
Oh.
Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students, on a study tour from Japan, you see.
So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I have to say, you daft fidget? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering you just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry. I know what you're thinking. This chance of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it, that's the only explanation. Well? Not at all. Not at all, although it is a little strange to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did he just say Reaper? Bro, this isn't Persona 3, you can't just call the Reaper. Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Betty. Lord Barak von Zix. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Van Zix stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's reached a desperate situation. Whereas there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You can say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barak von Zix. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The Fed is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial's about to begin. His counsel? That'll be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you show your face here, I made up me mind, so I had. Sorry. I decided I have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? Well, then you made an appearance. A student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. Yeah, I don't know why, like, the screen flickers when it's black like this. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man is no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you'll lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. I thought it was Susato talking. What's happening then? My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Cosma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. To be continued? Oh, no, I guess we're starting. Ooh, look at this. Okay, well, I think this is a good time to take a little break. Because I gotta take a wee-wee. I'll be right back. Alright, we're here in the Old Bailey courtroom at 10 a.m. Typically when trials take place. Wow, look at the jury, dude. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? So different to the Supreme Court in Japan. Feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair.
May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Yeah, I do like that he's got the sword, though. Oh, now here's the judge that I can... This looks like a judge I'm familiar with.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus Begilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
I don't fucking know what voice to give this guy. He looks like fucking Dracula, dude. Well, obviously gotta be something British.
The prosecution is fully prepared.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victims to the underworld.
Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready. I couldn't be further from ready if I tried.
Those eyes please me. Nipponese.
So this guy is supposed to be like Edgeworth. He even has a very similar, like, haircut.
They shroud fear.
Yeah, fuck, I can't talk.
They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
Cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes.
Now, Mr. McGilded.
Yes, me lord.
You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner?
As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand time I give to opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a stone from some little island off in the far east. It's not the British way to ignore the dangers of yourself and give less fortunate a fair chance. I like to think the acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Red McGilded. What a fine gentleman London has in town. Did you hear he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Well, may we please go and see McGilded Park? Seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly to remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Any criminals here would be wishing they never set eyes on me. We got a wide, friendly cast of characters here.
I feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these bits for my grandson.
I feel like I'm just starting to break out more accents than just British. Like we got some Scottish, we got some Russian. I don't know what the hell's happening, man. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, these people are the jury. Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. Ah, yeah, I knew they were called the jury. I guessed. That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinion of these 6 jurors. The judge passed a sentence according to the law, but the jurors determined guilt based on common sense. That reminds me of something. My buddy Desmond said he was doing, like, jury duty or something. And, I didn't know what that was. But, yeah, apparently, in here, you can, like, apply for jury duty, and you can, like, get selected to show up to a trial. Which is, kinda cool. So the defendant is ultimately judged from two completely different points of view. How exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't understand, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yeah.
Prosecutor Van Zeeks. My lord, it's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Belly, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some charge of circumstance on which the court should be aware?
I'll just give him a fucking, like, stock Dracula voice, because why not?
I leave that to your imagination, my lord.
So the Reaper's been out of action for 5 years? Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, wouldn't that mean if he's rusty then, if he hasn't been here for 5 years?
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity.
Must be the only ones here who aren't aware. Fucking scroll.
The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a marker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason.
Sorry? Thrice?
He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired, it was said, would be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an ominous insurgence on the streets of London. At the omnibus. Omnibus? A dagger that had been thrust in the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death.
You know what? I'm just gonna give him a fucking Dracula voice, and if you don't like it, then maybe I'll change it later.
Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer, Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept and the photograph as evidence.
The autopsy report. Ah, finally. Are you gonna update the autopsy report now? A report prepared by the Scotland Yard coroner. It gives the cause of death as internal hemorrhage as a result of a single stab wound to the abdomen. Okay. There's that word again, hemorrhage. Or I hope I'm saying that word right. Then we got the crime scene photograph. Photograph of the victim taken on the omnibus. The knife in his abdomen is clearly visible, but his face is partly obscured from the view by an old crooked hat. You know, I'm really liking the fact that, like, there's, like, no consistency on when trials and investigations are. Which is kind of neat, honestly. Like, you know, like, most of the normal Ace Attorney games, they have, like, a lot of consistency on when trials and investigations are, but, like, not this game, man. This game just, like, it throws you into a trial whenever the fuck it feels like it, and it makes you investigate whenever the fuck it feels like. It's great.
And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. The gloves? And these are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These Gorsot gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? You know, I should probably look at the court record at some point. Mr. McGilda's gloves had blood on them? I mean, we don't know where that's from, man.
Yes, I'll accept them as evidence as well.
Leather gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. There's a blood stain on the right glove. I thought that was like a hole in the glove, not blood. How'd I get into this? Alright, let me look at the court record. Is there anything we can examine about this? Thrice fired mason, age 54, brickmaker. Time and cause of death, 15th of February. Wow, that's like exactly a month before today, actually, at the time of recording. It's the 15th of March today. 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to eternal hemorrhage resulting from the trauma. We got the crime scene photograph. And we have the leather gloves, which we could probably examine. Well, obviously we can look at the blood. It's definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilda right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity, if only he'd been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. Yeah, she's right. I think that's the only thing I can examine. Alright. Oh yeah, what about the people? We could look at the people. We have Susato, a judicial assistant sent to Britain on a study tour. She's the epitome of a refined Japanese lady, and a huge help to me always. That's a new line at the end there. Miles Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice, who wields absolute authority in judicial matters, including the appointment of lawyers. He's a thoroughly intimidating man. He's 52, that makes sense. McGilda, oh, he's 48, damn. The defendant in this case, he's an incredibly wealthy philanthropist with a wonderful reputation in London. I'm to defend him as a test of my worthiness to become a lawyer. And I got Barrack von Zeeks, prosecutor known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Supposedly the souls of those he prosecutes are eternally damned, one way or another. And Thrice Fired Mason, the victim, a skilled but poor brickmaker who lived in the East End. Guess that's all we know about him, huh? I'm backed into a corner before I even started.
Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside this vehicle at the time.
Only 2?
Obviously, one of the passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded.
Everybody's surprised.
Well, rather damaging circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Wait, of course I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But when in the morning carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Leaden it is, and when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I've never even laid eyes on before in my life. Now I ask you, what's good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to have a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I was about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got into the gloves then after the man had been killed.
Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning.
Oh no, don't tell me they found like handprints on the fucking knife or something. That's not all of it?
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were no witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we'll hear testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. What the hell are these guys? Witnesses, your name is an occupation. My name is Will. Everyone calls me Papo. I drive an omnibus to the East End. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city.
My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir.
Very well then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Get some witness testimony now, huh? What the witnesses saw? It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers, I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. How the fuck am I gonna cross-examine that?
Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel.
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. I mean, yeah.
How quaint. I read that civilization in Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses?
Huh?
Tell me, my Nipponese friend. Have you been traveled in an omnibus?
Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves. The actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean? The actual scene? How?
A carriage designed to be moved, after all. Presumably, you understand that much.
Yes?
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building.
Here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
How could the fuck can they fit that in here? So that's an omnibus? The omnibus? I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Brand's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to the foreigner guests that there's a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These two gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. Ah, that makes perfect sense. Well, Counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
The whole ass bus is in evidence now. The 8-seater omnibus that was the scene of the crime. There are passengers both inside the carriage and on the roof deck that night. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain's simply extraordinary. I can help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here.
Let us continue with the proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, Counsel. Pray don't expect this Nippony Stray to understand the intricacies of a British cross-examination rights.
Alright, first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. Well, I should probably have a look at the, fucking evidence first. The 8-seater omnibus that was the scene of the crime. There were passengers both inside the carriage and on the roof deck that night. Well, we should examine it. What can we examine here, though? The skylight obviously is one thing. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witness would have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. I can examine the seats. So this is the roof of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? And they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that's the real price you pay to stay out late. Can we examine the door? No. Wait, I examined the door. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder. It's horrible. Oh, wow. This is very elaborate evidence. I'm trying to say. Oh, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. The Crystal Tower? Isn't that a thing in Final Fantasy III? Ooh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Oh, there's blood here. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victims, obviously. Yes, and that seat would clearly be visible from the roof deck. The poop deck. you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark. And there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. There's some words here. Oh, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition that's due start 6... Oh, okay, it's the same. Same thing, even though it looks different. Have you seen enough? Let's step back outside then. Man, it's so elaborate. I love it. Nothing on the front, right, that I can examine? Not even, like, the wheels or anything? I don't believe so. Wait, it says Phoenix Wright Omnibus. Why does it say that? Well, yeah, why does it say that? That's weird. Okay. Well, I have no idea how to cross-examine this, but we'll see. I guess we'll just press everything.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir. Ever so cold, it was freezing. Sir, freezing, in fact. Something to pursue, I don't think. And you had 4 passengers on board at that time, is that correct? Yeah, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though, no? Okay, just gotta keep looking around these people.
And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example.
Yeah, you're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none. They seem fine to me. So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then? I have to say the boss inside on his running. He does every evening, the last bus on the day. But I do wonder if it's all together worthwhile. Yeah, sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see? Yes, I spend that much time on the way home, just trying to warm up again.
The victim and the man accused of killing.
Yeah, let's press that.
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight and the roof of the carriage?
That's right. When you step up on top of a deck, the window's right there at your feet.
Well, yeah, it does make sense.
There was a lamp on the inside, so I had a pretty good view. The 2 of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the closed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There is no room for doubt here.
Really wish there was.
Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened?
Didn't I already testify to that?
Everybody else seems fine.
Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... My lord!
Juror number 3, what's the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me. Uh-oh. there's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. Oh, wow.
That is precisely what I wanted to say. As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set a good example to the fellow jurors.
What the fuck? What is happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes. It seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Ugh, now I'm even more worried than I was before.
Very well. The court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare. That's right. He stabbed my screen. I did. I couldn't help it.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? And you're sitting on a roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little Chet sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about a new hat design, you see. So I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right off from his belly, that huge great knife.
A grim sight indeed.
That didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced than my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone more dubious that Mr. McGill is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First,
Oh, yes, sir.
is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. Yeah, very one, sir. Is that...
Yes, Counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
Well, now I'm even more convinced he's based on Dracula. He talked about a fucking stake in the heart.
That is the blade of considerable size, Counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Please, no.
M for Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, possibly? Take your pick. It seems this particularly big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Yes. Like in Mason?
Objection!
That's what he sounds like? Also, his objection looks different.
This blade is too far extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Counsel.
The murder weapon's been... Oh, now we have the murder weapon. That's good. A largish knife that was found lodged in the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornamentation suggests it must be quite valuable. My lord, if you forgive me the interruption.
Juror number 2. Go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. Well, that's 3 now. No. I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime.
painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion.
Well, shit, that makes 4 out of 6 now. Again, that's 4 out of 6 jury members who's proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose they'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing with that more sparks may well fly. Man, I thought it was going to be like one of those Ace Attorney games where if you press the witness too much, you get, like, penalized or something. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that'll give us a way to fight back. But... alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witness's statement again. Okay, I'm gonna press this guy then.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, how in the passenger, sir. Yeah, the collapse on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And then the other passenger had that knife in his hand, like this. By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What?
My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, sure, number 5. Do I take it that you too? As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's garages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse is bolted, as they say.
No, please. Just keep an open mind, little.
Gee up now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir.
Which now means the 5 jurors agree to condemn this man.
Only Granny's left.
Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear? What can I do for you?
You've heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then, pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day, and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. A gentleman donated to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have been in him to take another man's life.
He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. By the way, maybe go to the McGilded Public Library later and borrow some more books.
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is?
What kind of a man is he?
The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one of the very darkest of souls.
Is that a Dark Souls reference? What?
Stone the crows?
McGilder lends money extortionate rates of interest so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard of anything mentioned of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a garage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service?
You're not saying that.
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that this creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilder. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, that the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilder.
I don't believe it. Oh, I didn't even know she had to hold it. If I might add something briefly, Mrs. Otto, you claim that the victim had lent money by Mr. McGilder. But where's the evidence to support your claim?
Red wine. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law. Haha, there it is. Lord Vang Zeek's hallowed chalice.
How can this be considered acceptable?
But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
Oh. As judicial assistant to the court, or defense, I'm simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh.
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, Counsel. I'll gladly accept this new evidence.
Well, now I have more evidence, though. That's good, though. A catalog of people who had borrowed money from the defendant at a high rate of interest. It includes the victim, who owned 20 guineas.
Oh yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused.
And such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. Still, maybe it's all for the best. Oh, wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before. I don't stand for nonsense.
Well, I think the court's over now. That was it. Last juror's decision.
According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. The final verdict is over then? Oh. There's a footnote, though.
A footnote?
However, the defense...
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement of the case. Allow me to convey my respect for your faith and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I'll now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Mr. Zato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You're in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded the defense guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Summation examination?
Objection!
A summation examination? From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected?
Ah,
Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law couldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
oh. What even is it, Mr. Zato? The so-called summation examination. Oh, one moment. I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to procedure before you even understand what it entails? Typical Japanese.
Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we'll be able to appeal to the members of the jury.
To do what exactly?
Appeal to them to change their learning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed.
Make them reverse their decisions? Yes. In times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it really fell out of use.
But then does that mean we can still use it, though? Like, it's not saying, like, oh, it's banned, you know?
I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age.
So what, they just don't feel like it? That's the only reason?
Still, I don't see any mentions of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and may largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Summation examination. Our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Well, obviously assert our right. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very high standards of the judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Well, I'm not, There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, no? All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions, explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot.
This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before. Oh, really? Hold on with this justifying lark? Seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them experienced this before. Alright then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has ever attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for, to turn this trial around.
So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime.
Okay, well, I think this is a great place to stop for now, because I'm getting a bit tired out. So, yeah. So I guess we're doing Trial Part 2, the Old Bailey. There's been no, like, save point yet, so I'm just gonna, like, stop wherever I feel like it. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna, in the next episode, we're gonna do the fucking summation examination. That's pretty interesting. We've never done something like this before. I saw this in the trailers for the game. Like, it was like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago or something. Wait, no. No, wasn't it like 2 or 3 years ago? Either way, I know this was like advertised as something you can do in the game. And, you know, I was kind of worried that it might, like, feel very different from how Ace Attorney normally is, but honestly, I think it'll just be like a natural progression of what you can do in the game. So, I think that'll do it for today's episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch, as always. And, later tonight, I'm thinking I might try out Mega Man 4 for Game Boy, because I have not touched the Mega Man Game Boy games in like a year and a half now. And I think it's finally time I should try another one. And I'm hoping that goes well. So we're playing 2 Capcom games today. It's kind of funny. Alright, but yeah, I'm really loving this so far. Trial... I wasn't expecting episode 3 to start with a trial. This game's just all over the place, honestly. I'm really loving it. And, like, I kind of find it funny that it's not till, like, case 3 that we get introduced to, like, the actual prosecutor. Because usually you get introduced to the prosecutor in, like, the second case. But no, it's different. It's interesting. I like it, though. Alright, well, I'm gonna go finish editing Smash Ultimate Part 60. I'm getting pretty close to finishing the first season of Smash Ultimate, because Smash Ultimate Season 1 ends on Part 62, which means that I'll get to start Season 2 after that. And I'm going to start working on Smash Highlights Part 13. I have to do the thumbnail for Part 12. That'll come out in like a few days, probably. So keep an eye out for that, alright? Anyways, I'll see you guys later tonight. So, bye.